Welcome back one and all to part 3 of our tip-to-tail install of the Z33 350z Z34 370z hydro handbrake install videos. We've already installed the handbrake assembly to the front and the dual caliper brackets and friends to the rear, and now it's time to connect them all together and make them function as one with the Gktech hydro brake line install. Let's go! Please take much care not to injure yourself wiggling the bag like this, as Zach here is a trained professional. Upon opening and removing our thing, you will find some fittings and lines and stuff. Starting with the aptly named T-piece, this connects the main line from the master up front to the currently being wiggled T-piece in the rear, splitting off into the two rear lines to the calipers. Next up, you have the banjo bolt with two copper washers whose sole job is to connect the main line to the Willwood master cylinder. We've also included two extra copper washers for the caliper side of things. Quick note on that, if you have the small boy OEM brakes, use these washers. If you have the Brembos, sell them for scrap, as copper is at an all-time high and you can thank us later for that. Up next are these adorable little black P-clips used to keep the line nice and secure all the way to the back of the car, preventing any unwanted flex that would occur if the line was to be flopping about all willy-nilly, giving you a nice and firm yank stick feel. Next you have the main line itself, aka the one with the circle at the end. This circle, otherwise known as a banjo fitting, connects to the master and the other end goes into the T-piece. Now we do offer these lines in two sizes, one shorter and one longer, aka coupe, meaning 2-door, and sedan, meaning 4-door. So please pick the correct one after tallying up all your doors meticulously. Add to cart and you're off to the races. Last up we have the caliper lines, which obviously go from T-piece to calipers on either side of your whip. Now please remember that the swivel side is to be fitted to the T-piece and the fixed side goes into the caliper. Lots of people get this wrong, so you've heard it here first. This is the correct way. Now, if you don't have any internet available to hear my voice telling you how to install these correctly, these do come with white paper warning sheets letting you know the same in a very much less sultry way. Moving right along to the 350Z, we've already installed the hydro kit brake stuff too. We shall begin the line portion, aka part 3 of this soon-to-be on Netflix docuseries. JK, their offer wasn't high enough to buy us out. Grab the banjo bolt and two copper washers, placing one washer on each side of the banjo fitting, aka the circle, then stab the bolt through all of them and get the above into the master. Tighten that all down and torque to the specs shown here on the screen. In this case, we've chosen to run the line on the inside of the car to the rear, as this is a track car and we don't care about drilling holes in the interior. We've also removed the center console for this portion. You can choose to run under the car, but that's up to you. Put the P-clips on the line and zap them down with some self-tappers until you reach the back of the whip. Now where you mount the T-piece is open. In this case, since the car was gutted, we have access to this super handy T6 threaded hole. We used a spacer to get it up and out of the way for optimal line attachage. Toss in your bolt of choice and tighten that sucker down to the torque specs shown on the screen. Now grab that main line and install the end that's left into the T-piece, tightening that fitting down. Now, finish securing the line to the T-piece with another P-clip and move right along. Having stated before, the caliper lines have one fixed fitting and one swivel. I will once again say to fit the fixed end and tighten that down into the caliper. Again, also stating, since we're using Brembos, no copper washers are needed. Thread that sucker in and tighten it down. Now, because race car, we will be using a hole saw to drill holes in this poor little Z, but this can be avoided again by routing your lines under the car if you're trying to keep that thing hella tight, clean, flush, etc. We aren't, so the holy way we go. Now, post hole digging, there is jagged metal exposed, aka something that won't be nice to the lines during rubbage. So be a doll and toss in some grommets to keep the line nice and chafe-free. Pop the line through the grommet and navigate it over to the T-piece, where you can now thread on and tighten that thing all the way down. Once tight, use a couple more P-clips to secure the line to the chassis as shown. Now move on to the other side and install that into the T-piece, locking that line down with the remaining P-clips. If you have extras for some reason, toss them all on somewhere. The more the merry. You don't want that line to be floppy, you want that thing stiff AF. Now grab your favorite brand of brake fluid and fill the master to the top, then slowly pull the handbrake lever to fill the lines with fluid, making damn well sure to top the reservoir off as you go. You do not want to put more air in there, I promise. Now there are many ways to bleed brakes, but we have chosen the one that is the most simple. the pressure bleeding method. You will need a friend for this one, so get onto MySpace and pick one of your top 10. Start by slowly pumping the handle, and I mention slowly because if you rip that thing like a Honda driver shifts, you'll make tiny air bubbles, which again, you do not want. Once it builds some pressure, hold it in the engaged position, then have MySpace favorite number 4 crack open the skyward facing nipple on the caliper until the lever drops all the way to the bottom, then tighten the nipple and return the yank stick to its original starting position. Once again, slowly pump for pressure, hold, bleed, tighten, and repeat this together as an expert team until no air bubbles come out of the lines. Keep doing this all whilst remembering to keep that reservoir topped off, or you will be doing this for a very long time. Side note, do not forget the inner nips if you're rocking the Brembos. Repeat this process for the other side, keeping that reservoir filled. Make sure your nips are all tight, then go rip your yank stick after shifting into 7th gear in a parking lot in Mexico. This is all of us. Yes, we've expanded to make more of these vids more efficiently. Zach wiggles boxes, films, and does the installs. Johnny caps and Josh edit the suckers, and I lay down the sweet vocals over the top. We all drive cars, we all drift, and we all use these parts to make our lives complete. If you can't install these, have a professional do it, or reach out to us with any questions you may or may not have. This has been Officer Dan, Johnny Caps, Josh, and Dot 3 Zach with another Gktech How To. Peace.